Authenticity is more magnetic than perfection, and it is a truth many fail to recognize in today's world. We live in a society that constantly bombards us with flawless images, polished lifestyles, and edited realities. Social media, television, and culture at large push this idea that the closer you appear to perfection, the more love, respect, and attention you'll receive. Yet, the irony is that perfection creates distance, while authenticity builds connection. People are not drawn to flawlessness, they are drawn to realness. There's something captivating about someone who embraces their true self without trying too hard to impress. Authenticity carries a power that perfection can never replicate, because it speaks to the soul rather than the eyes. When someone is authentic, they radiate a certain kind of confidence that perfectionists can never fake. A person who accepts their quirks, flaws, and uniqueness has an energy that draws others in effortlessly. This is because authenticity tells the world, I am comfortable being who I am. That kind of raw self-assurance doesn't just command respect, it inspires admiration. On the other hand, perfection often feels rehearsed, stiff, and unapproachable. People may admire perfection from afar, but they connect with authenticity up close. And connection is far more valuable than admiration. Think about the people who truly impact your life. Rarely are they the ones who seem perfect in every way. More often, they're the ones who made you feel safe to be yourself, the ones who didn't hide their scars, the ones who laughed at their own mistakes and showed you their humanity. Authentic people give permission for others to let go of the mask too. They remind you that being real is not just acceptable, it's beautiful. That's why they're magnetic. They don't drain themselves trying to meet impossible standards. Instead, they stand firm in who they are, and that strength draws others closer. Perfection is exhausting both to chase and to watch. It sets an unrealistic standard that creates pressure rather than inspiration. Authenticity, however, is refreshing. It feels like a breath of fresh air in a world suffocated by artificial images. When someone is authentic, you feel it immediately. Their words align with their actions, their presence feels honest, and you don't second. Guess their intentions. They aren't trying to win approval. They're simply living truthfully, and that truth resonates deeply. You can't fake the glow that comes from a genuine heart. Men and women alike are subconsciously more attracted to authenticity. A man may initially be captivated by a woman's beauty, but it is her authenticity that makes her unforgettable. Beauty can catch his eye, but realness captures his spirit. The same is true for women toward men. Confidence rooted in authenticity feels far more appealing than a polished image of someone pretending to be flawless. We crave people who are genuine because they make us feel secure, valued, and seen for who we really are. Authenticity also builds trust, and trust is the foundation of every strong relationship. A perfect facade eventually cracks, and when it does, it shatters the illusion. But authenticity never breaks because it has nothing to hide. When you are real, people know what to expect from you. They know that the version of you they're experiencing is consistent, not a temporary performance. This creates stability, reliability, and a bond that cannot be faked. In a world full of masks, being authentic is like being a lighthouse. You stand out because you're not trying to blend in. Perfection tries to impress, but authenticity inspires. The difference may seem subtle, but it is life-changing. When you chase perfection, you live in fear. Fear of making mistakes, fear of judgment, fear of being not enough. That fear keeps you small, confined to roles and images that don't reflect your true self. Authenticity, on the other hand, is freedom. It's the freedom to laugh loudly, to fail openly, to love deeply without holding back. It's the freedom to be vulnerable and strong at the same time. And it is this freedom that makes people magnetized toward you, because authenticity is rare, and what is rare always becomes valuable. The magnetic pull of authenticity also lies in the courage it represents. To be authentic in a world obsessed with perfection takes bravery. It takes strength to say, I'm not perfect, but I'm still worthy. And when people witness that kind of courage, they can't help but admire it. Authentic individuals become role models, not because they pretend to have it all together, but because they show that it's okay not to. They remind us that life is not about achieving flawlessness. It's about embracing the truth of who we are and still choosing to shine. Authenticity also creates deeper, more meaningful connections. Surface-level perfection can impress temporarily, but it doesn't build intimacy. Real intimacy comes from sharing imperfections, from admitting fears, from being vulnerable enough to let someone see behind the curtain. Authentic people allow others to connect with their soul rather than their image. That's why they are remembered long after perfect people are forgotten. Even in professional life, authenticity wins. Leaders who are authentic command more loyalty than those who simply project authority. Friends who are authentic are cherished more deeply than those who pretend. Lovers who are authentic create bonds that endure storms. Because at the end of the day, people don't want flawless partners, flawless friends, or flawless leaders. They want real ones. Perfection fades, beauty changes, status shifts, but authenticity is timeless. It doesn't lose value with age or circumstance. It only grows stronger. Authentic people are remembered because they leave an imprint that cannot be erased. They live fully, love deeply, and connect genuinely. And that is the kind of legacy perfection can never achieve. So when you find yourself tempted to chase perfection, pause and remember this. Authenticity is more magnetic than perfection because it touches hearts rather than impresses eyes. The world doesn't need another flawless mask, it needs your real voice, your real laugh, your real soul. The cracks in your armor don't make you less, they make you unforgettable. And if you dare to live authentically, you'll discover that people are drawn to you not despite your imperfections, but because of them. Small, unconscious habits create deep emotional attraction in ways most people never fully realize. Often when we think about what makes someone irresistible, our minds jump to big actions or grand gestures. The carefully chosen words, the dramatic expressions of love, the outward signs of effort. But the truth is, it's the tiny, unplanned, almost invisible behaviors that often leave the most lasting impression. Attraction isn't always built in obvious moments. It often takes root in the quiet details that go unnoticed by the one doing them, but deeply felt by the one watching. These little habits reveal authenticity, vulnerability, and personality in ways perfection never could. And it is exactly those raw pieces of humanity that pull someone closer. When a person is comfortable enough to just be themselves, their unconscious habits start to surface. Maybe it's the way she brushes her hair back when she's thinking, or the way she bites her lip when she's nervous. Perhaps it's how he laughs too hard at something silly, or the way he absent-mindedly hums to himself while working. None of these are rehearsed. None of them are designed to impress, and that is why they become powerful. The lack of intention makes them pure, and purity in behavior translates directly into emotional connection. It says, "This is me when I'm not trying to be anyone else." That rawness is what stirs attraction at a deeper level. People underestimate how much they reveal in their smallest gestures. A simple smile held a second too long can create more impact than 1,000 rehearsed compliments. The way someone leans in during a conversation, not because they're trying to appear engaged, but because they genuinely are. It communicates interest and vulnerability in a way no words could. A glance that lingers, a laugh that bursts out unexpectedly, or even the way someone fumbles with their words when nervous. These moments carve themselves into memory because they are authentic. And authenticity always builds stronger attraction than polish. The unconscious habits matter, because they bypass the logical mind and go straight to the emotional heart. You can't plan them, so they can't be faked. This is why they feel genuine and magnetic. When someone catches you doing one of those little things, it's almost like they've been given access to a part of your soul that you don't normally show. It feels intimate, private, and special, and that's why it leaves such an impression. Attraction grows not just from how you look or what you say, but from how you exist when you're unaware of being observed. Think about the times someone told you they liked something about you that you didn't even notice yourself. Maybe they said, "I love how you tilt your head when you're curious," or "the way your eyes light up when you laugh is incredible." These observations surprise you because they highlight things you weren't consciously doing. Yet to the other person, those little details stood out far more than anything you tried to do intentionally. That's the essence of deep emotional attraction. It grows out of seeing and valuing the real, unfiltered sides of a person. Small unconscious habits are also powerful because they signal comfort and safety. When someone starts showing their unconscious quirks around you, it means they trust you enough to let their guard down. For example, maybe she twirls her spoon absent-mindedly in her coffee while talking, or maybe he cracks his knuckles while deep in thought. These aren't behaviors people try to showcase. They just happen when someone feels relaxed. Witnessing those moments creates intimacy because you're no longer experiencing a curated version of the person. You're experiencing their natural state, and that is incredibly attractive. Moreover, these unconscious habits create patterns that the mind associates with comfort and desire. Over time, they become triggers of attraction. For instance, if someone always laughs in a certain way, that laugh can become addictive to the person drawn to them. Or if someone often tucks their hair behind their ear, that small movement can replay in the admirer's memory long after. It's these seemingly trivial gestures that lodge themselves into the heart, creating an emotional bond stronger than scripted romance ever could. Another important layer is vulnerability. Unconscious habits reveal imperfection, and imperfection makes people relatable. When a man stumbles over his words because he's nervous, or when a woman laughs so hard she snorts unexpectedly, those imperfect moments create a charm that perfection cannot. They make the person feel human, approachable, and real. And realness builds trust. Attraction isn't just about admiration, it's about connection. Perfection might impress, but vulnerability connects, and unconscious habits are the purest form of vulnerability. People often chase external beauty, but what holds their attention are the little details that beauty cannot manufacture. Anyone can wear nice clothes or speak eloquently, but not everyone can replicate the unconscious sparkle in their eyes when they're excited, or the way they subconsciously lean towards someone they feel drawn to. These habits can't be staged, and that's why they are so magnetic. They remind us that attraction isn't logical, it's emotional, and emotions are triggered by the smallest, rawest cues. In relationships, these unconscious habits become the things we miss most when someone is gone. You might forget the fancy words they said, but you'll remember the way they tapped their fingers while waiting, or how they smiled with one corner of their mouth before laughing. These are the things that linger, the things that haunt memory, the things that keep attraction alive even in absence. Love and desire are built not just on who people are in their grandest moments, but on who they are in their smallest ones. Even in the early stages of attraction, unconscious habits act like silent confessions. A man might not say, "I'm into you," but the way he keeps glancing at her lips while she speaks says it louder than words. A woman might not admit her growing affection, but the way she laughs a little longer at his jokes gives it away. These unconscious signs of attraction are noticed, felt, and remembered, even when no one dares to speak them aloud. That's why they are powerful. They reveal the truth before words ever can. Attraction rooted in unconscious habits is also more enduring. External beauty and deliberate charm can fade or lose their effect over time, but the little things, those unique quirks and gestures, stay forever. They form the private language of love, the details only one person notices about another. This is what keeps relationships alive and what keeps desire burning. You stop being drawn to the image of a person and start being drawn to the essence of who they are. So never underestimate the power of your unconscious self. You don't need to rehearse every move or calculate every response. Often, it's the parts of you that you don't even notice. The way you smile, the way you sigh, the way you show joy or nervousness. That will draw someone into your world. Attraction is not always about effort. Sometimes it's about letting yourself be so real that your natural essence does the work for you. The truth is, the smallest habits create the deepest impressions, and it is within those unconscious moments that the seeds of unforgettable attraction are planted. Men value the unspoken gestures that reveal true personality far more than most people realize. Words are powerful, yes, but they can be rehearsed, manipulated, and even faked. Gestures, on the other hand, slip past intention. They are raw, unpolished glimpses into someone's character, and it is in those small, silent moments that a man begins to truly understand and appreciate a woman. The way she looks at him when she thinks he isn't watching, the subtle kindness she shows to strangers, the comfort she carries in her natural movements. These things speak louder than any declaration. Men are often quiet observers, noticing details that women may not even know they are giving away. It's not the loud words or the dramatic efforts that leave the deepest mark. It's the unspoken gestures that reveal who she really is beneath the surface. True personality shines brightest when it isn't being showcased. A man might hear 1,000 compliments, but it's the little way she adjusts his collar before he heads out, or the way she reaches for his hand in a crowd without saying a word, that makes him feel truly valued. These are not gestures designed for attention. They are instinctive, natural, and honest. And because they are honest, they carry weight. Men are drawn to honesty because it's rare in a world where people are constantly trying to perform. When she does something without realizing it, like smiling to herself while reading or laughing in a way that makes her lose composure, those moments stick in his memory because they are unguarded pieces of her soul. Men also value these unspoken gestures because they reveal consistency. Words can be changed depending on mood or intention, but the way someone naturally moves, responds, and acts gives away patterns of character. For example, a woman who treats the waiter with kindness when she thinks no one notices shows more about her personality than any speech about being caring. A woman who listens fully, leaning in and giving undivided attention, communicates respect and interest without saying a thing. These signals cut deeper than words because they are not filtered through thought. They are expressions of who she is at her core. Unspoken gestures also create intimacy in ways language cannot. When she places her hand on his arm during a conversation, it tells him she feels close, safe, and connected. When she glances at him from across a room with a look that says, "I see you," it builds a bond more powerful than any public declaration. These little cues communicate trust, affection, and attraction silently, yet they resonate in his mind for days. Men may not always articulate how much they notice these things, but they do. They remember. And in quiet reflection, they value those gestures more than the carefully spoken words. The power of unspoken gestures lies in their vulnerability. A woman may try to control her words, but she cannot always control her body language, her expressions, or her natural reaction. That's why men value them. They reveal truth. If she's genuinely happy, her eyes light up. If she's genuinely compassionate, her body leans in when someone is hurting. If she's genuinely in love, her gestures soften naturally when he is near. A man who is truly paying attention will see these things, and they will tell him far more than words ever could. Men are not always vocal about their emotions, but they are often very perceptive. They pick up on the unspoken gestures because they are looking for authenticity. When a woman hugs him a second longer than necessary, or when she unconsciously mirrors his movements, it sends a signal straight past his logic into his emotions. He may not analyze it in the moment, but he feels it deeply. It's in these small, unplanned acts that he begins to understand her genuine personality, not the image she may try to present. And authenticity is what men crave most, because it makes trust possible. The beauty of unspoken gestures is that they are unique to every individual. No two people laugh the same way, no two people smile the same, no two people show affection with the same subtlety. That uniqueness is magnetic because it cannot be copied or replaced. A man might meet many people in his life, but he will remember the one whose gestures made him feel something real. The way she tucked her hair behind her ear, the way her eyes softened when she was thoughtful, the way she leaned into him when she was tired. These details linger because they reveal her true personality without a filter. Even in difficult times, unspoken gestures reveal more than words ever could. When she stays calm and composed in conflict, it shows strength. When she reaches out to comfort instead of argue, it shows maturity. When she silently supports him without needing recognition, it shows loyalty. Men value these things deeply because they reflect character. It's easy to say, "I'm supportive," or "I'm loyal," but it's much harder to live those qualities consistently in actions. Gestures are proof, and proof is far more powerful than promises. In love, it is the unspoken language that often defines the bond. Words may create understanding, but gestures create memory. A whispered compliment may fade, but the way she rests her head on his shoulder in silence will stay etched forever. Men remember the warmth of those gestures, the honesty of those unguarded moments. They carry those memories like treasures because they come from a place of pure personality, not performance. Unspoken gestures also nurture respect. A man who sees a woman show kindness when no one is watching, or strength in moments when it's hardest, will respect her beyond measure. Respect is the foundation of attraction that lasts, and gestures build it brick by brick. Men value women who don't just say they are genuine, but prove it through actions too small to be staged. The way she interacts with the world around her reveals more about her true personality than anything she could ever explain. Ultimately, men value the unspoken gestures that reveal true personality because they crave depth, not just surface-level charm. They want to know who she is when she's not performing, when she's not trying to impress, when she's simply being herself. Those moments create trust, intimacy, and love that words cannot match. It's in the little things, the way she listens, the way she touches, the way she simply exists in her natural state, that he sees her true soul. And that is what he falls in love with, far beyond beauty, far beyond perfection, far beyond anything words could describe at the end of the day. What leaves the deepest mark on a man is not the flawless image or the perfect words. It's the silent details that reveal who you truly are. It's the glance you give when you're proud of him, the way you laugh without holding back, the kindness you show when no one else is paying attention. Those unspoken gestures are more powerful than any speech because they cannot be faked. They are the mirror of your soul, the raw evidence of your heart, and the truth of your character. Men value them because they bring a sense of certainty. He knows he is seeing the real you, not the version you created for the world. And that realness is priceless. Perfection may fade, words may be forgotten, but those unguarded moments linger forever in memory. They become the quiet reasons why he feels connected, why he feels drawn in, why he chooses to stay. So never underestimate the power of what you don't say, because sometimes the deepest form of attraction doesn't live in language at all. It lives in the silent, beautiful, unconscious gestures that reveal your true personality and make you unforget.